a U.S. Air Force veteran, 70 years old. He was pushed to the ground, and now he is being charged with felony assault. So it's really it's horrible. It's horrible out there, and it seems to only be getting worse now with Memphis, Portland, and Chicago.
On the line with us right now is Jordan Chariton. He's the CEO and reporter with Status Coup, COUP News. The website statuscoup.com. And Jordan, welcome to the program. Tell me what's going on with ICE in Chicago. I'm getting reports that they're literally beating people up and sticking guns in people's faces. That basically we're under assault here.
Yeah, it really kind of seems like a Call of Duty game in real life. Mm-hmm. We were out there on Saturday. The streets outside of the Broadview Detention Center, which is about 13 miles from Chicago, I mean, just filled with tear gas. They have snipers on the roof, not just ICE, Border Patrol agents as well, shooting pepper balls off the roof straight at protesters, as well as journalists. My cameraman was tear gas pretty bad. There was a lot of protesters vomiting from the tear gas because it was so thick in the air. And they're shooting rubber bullets too, which, has kind of like a connotation of being softer. But I could tell you, I mean, if you get shot with a rubber bullet from close up, you could get really hurt. You could even die from a rubber bullet.
We had a guy here in Portland back in 2020 who suffered permanent brain damage from that.
Exactly. And they're just like, there was one instance on Saturday night where they tackled an unarmed protester for no apparent reason. Even he was confused what was going on. So it just seems kind of like there's no rhyme or reason to it. The protesters, from what we could see on the ground, have been peaceful. I mean, the most aggression has just been kind of taunting, the ICE and Border Patrol, but nothing was thrown at them, no violence. And then there was, of course, the veteran the other day that kind of went around in the news, a U.S. Air Force veteran, 70 years old. He was pushed to the ground.
Yeah, we're
really
showing
hard.
video of that right now for people who are watching us on Free Speech TV or YouTube or whatever.
And in our footage, you could see he's asking someone to take his phone. His arm kind of swings up, lightly grazes the Border Patrol agent, and now he is being charged with felony assault. So it's really it's horrible. It's horrible out there, and it seems to only be getting worse now with Memphis, Portland, and Chicago.
Yeah, Sarah Jones is reporting we're being invaded by our own military. She's talking about how they cut through. They had a big 15-inch chainsaw with a round blade on it, cutting a fence down to get into this building. And they said, this is a quote, they were terrified. The kids were crying. People were screaming. They looked distraught. I was out there crying when I saw this little girl come around the corner because they were bringing the kids down too. They had them zip tied to each other. And I kept asking, where is the morality? Where is the humanity? And one of them literally laughed in my face. He was standing right there and he said, F them kids. Wow.
Yep.
So,
go ahead. Another element, I think, in addition to the brutality, it's just totally chaotic, the entire process. I mean, I've been talking to spouses, family members of people being detained. It's showing up in the system, the ICE system, as they've been deported to Mexico or elsewhere, yet they're sitting in a torture camp in El Paso, Texas, being deprived insulin in one case, a gentleman who's got diabetes, and they're just bringing so many immigrants at a time at this location in El Paso, 400 in a matter of days. There's such a logjam, they can't actually deport them. So the stated goal of mass deportations, they're just bringing in so many they can't actually deport them, if that was even the desire. But I worry, because I reported about a decade ago at Standing Rock on the ground, and it's very similar, the scenes that are happening. I do worry that this is going to escalate to the point where, we might have some loss of life, because a lot of these ICE agents who are getting the $50,000 signing bonuses are not trained, do not have law enforcement background, and obviously are pretty wild.
Yeah, know nothing about the Constitution, know nothing that they don't realize that the First Amendment guarantees your right of free speech and assembly. It's incredible. We're talking with Jordan Chariton. He's the CEO and reporter at Status Coup News. Status, COUP, statuscoup.com is their website. At Jordan Chariton, Chariton on Twitter. Jordan, is there anybody that's kind of organizing protests against ICE, or are these all ad hoc? Are these just people showing up?
Yeah, Chicago in particular, in all the cities we've covered LA, ICE raids, New York City, DC. Chicago is one of the more organized, and when they kind of send out the bat signal, they get it together in less than 24 hours. Yesterday we were live at 5 o'clock Central Time on a Tuesday. They had about 1,000 protesters in downtown Chicago in that Riverwalk area. So it's kind of a conflagration of groups, but they are doing weekly protests. Fridays in particular, they're out at this particular detention center right outside of Chicago early, like 7 a.m. Central for a few hours. That's where they, if your viewers remember, they threw down the congressional candidate, Kat. I can't pronounce the last name, sorry.
Yeah.
But it's pretty organized in Chicago, and they're protesting, definitely it escalates and heats up during the week, but even during the weekend, but during the week, they have protests, sometimes every day.
I think they want this.
I think that's the stated goal. I think Trump wants, particularly in Chicago, these scenes so he could then sell it as kind of a
It's B-roll for Fox News is what it is. I mean, they loved it when we had one city block here in Portland back in 2020 where you had, protesters, painting the side of the building and stuff like that. And they're literally still running that B-roll on Fox News. The New York Times reports 2 days ago they did it. This is apparently why Trump thinks that Portland's on fire. This is all propaganda for the Murdoch, the billionaire Murdoch machine.
And, I don't want to be dramatic, but we have seen this in other, autocratic countries. I think he's trying to create as much violence on the streets to possibly have a rationale for canceling elections.
I agree.
The midterms are in about a year.
I agree.
And that's what you're seeing because, obviously police departments and this and that play around with numbers, but objectively, the crime is significantly down in Chicago, other cities that he's targeting. In fact, there's cities in red states, Memphis, St. Louis, that have worse crime numbers. A lot of the crime is actually petty theft of economic nature. Violent crime, murder is down, but facts be damned. And clearly, all of this is happening and escalating when I believe he's trying to change the subject from whatever his connection and implication are, is the Epstein files. You have the big, beautiful bank robbery bill that I call it, which the horrible economic numbers coming out every day. So, and obviously the media has to cover it. So he's kind of having his cake and eating it too, getting away from those issues. But I do urge people, obviously, within your safety preference, because not everyone can go out there, but if you're in Chicago or these other areas, there's strength in numbers, ICE and Border Patrol. The more people that are out there, the hopefully more restrained they would be.
And stay peaceful.
We're covering it in Chicago and many other cities. Status Coup
good on you.
Is the YouTube channel.
Yep. Jordan Chariton, YouTube, Status Coup, COUP, and statuscoup.com. Jordan, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Good talking to you, and keep up the great work. I'll be back with more of the news of the day and your calls in a minute.